Hey everyone, Ray Alfalla here with the B-Car fix setup at Chicagoland. So here we're going to go to the data pack, load up Chicago session. So you can see all right here the best lap in the optimal lap, sector times, the replay, the fix setup that was used. So we're going to go here to learn track. Now we let this load here. And we go up to laps. Actually, we're already on the hot lap. Make sure to click full track here so you get the full track. And now we take the green. We get a good run off turn 4. We go into turn 1. We're going to do about 194 miles an hour. Very aggressive on the inputs right there. With this car, the setup is actually a little bit loose, so you're not really braking into turn 1 at all. About 190 into turn 3. Again, no brake required on the hot lap. Hard on the gas. And you come off the corner. And that'll be the hot lap around Chicago. Now we're going to go find lap 10. Hot lap was a 29.9. Now we go to lap 10. At a 30.6, so not too much fall off, but you know, with the setup, it's actually a little bit on the loose side, so you'll notice the rear end starts stepping out a little bit. And as you can see, you know, I'm not as aggressive. I'm waiting on the car a little bit longer. And with the dynamic track, you'll start moving around. Later in the run, I'll run different lines just to show you where you should run. As you can see, entering turn 3, you just have to be a little bit more patient with the car. Turns pretty well, but you know, the rear end can step out a little bit sometimes. Now lap 20. We're going to go into turn 1, and we're going to try and run kind of like the middle line, maybe a little bit higher. This is kind of like the middle line where you may have to run during a race. The dynamic track is working well now, and you know, you'll basically be moving around during the race. So this is kind of the line you expect to run, maybe even a little bit higher. I'll get to that on lap 30. That's kind of running the middle. Right now it's a slower lap time just because I'm alone on the track, and the optimal line, which is the bottom, that'll be the best line to run when the track is not rubbered up. But when there's cars on the track, you'll want to move, you know, from the bottom to the top depending on which side of the track is cooler. Now we're going to start our last lap, and you'll notice that I'm down here on the apron, kind of like what you do in qualifying. But here at Chicago, it's a pretty big advantage to go down there. At least, you know, a few hundreds, and that can add up. So you'll see a lot of times during the races, drivers will drive all the way down here next to the grass on the front stretch, and they'll basically do that the whole run. You know, as you go further in the run, the tires will wear out more, and that'll become more of a challenge. You know, especially if you're in traffic and it's difficult to see. You know, getting back up to the bank can be difficult because there's quite a bit of a transition there. So if you don't time that right, it can actually hook your car to the left, and you'll see, you know, drivers get loose and even crash doing that. So right now we're going to take the start of our last lap of the run on the apron again. Up, you know, when you get on the apron, make sure you commit to it. You know, don't keep the wheel turn too much to the left. Otherwise, that left front is likely to hook as you come up the track. So we'll commit to it. And this lap, I'm all the way up next to the wall because you may have to run up here, so this is kind of how you do it, you know. Obviously right here, since I'm the only car on the track, there's not much grip up there. It's a slower lap time, but as the track rubbers in, with everybody running on the bottom, you know, it'll move up to the top. So there's some bumps entering turn 3 up here, which you got to watch out for, not hit the wall up there, and then you bring it back down straight onto the apron. That'll be your line a lot of times during the races. Now I'm going to compare the second to last lap and compared to the last lap, where, you know, the second to last lap I ran the bottom line, the normal line, and then the last lap I ran up by the wall. And this is kind of just to see, you know, the different inputs, and you know, just the difference between the laps. Obviously, you know, running the optimal line was a lot faster just because there was no rubber on the track, but you know, you can see kind of like the difference in inputs and whatnot. So we're going to load this. Make sure you click up here, just make it one video. We're going to go over here to laps. Now the lap on the video will be the faster lap, lap 29, and then compared to lap 30. Okay, so now, as you can see right here, the reason it's showing, as you see right here, yep. So this is this difference right here is because on the last lap I was up right next to the grass, so that's almost 30 feet difference. So we go into turn 1, the difference is still that much, but by the time we get to turn 1 right here, that's where that crossover happens, you know, because when you're on the apron, you have to make sure that you go up the track, and you have to be right next to the wall before the corner. Even if you're going to run high or low, make sure to always get right up next to the wall. Give yourself the best chance. So you go into the corner right here. Pretty equal on the brakes. A little bit more brake on the bottom, lasting a little bit longer, just because, you know, it's a tighter turning radius. But then when you get back on the gas, you know, the reason I couldn't get back on the gas too aggressively on the high side was just because there's just less grip up there with being the only car on the track. And now entering turn 3, as you can see, pretty even brake and gas. And again, that's kind of like the main reason. Normally, you'd expect the top line to, you know, to be a lot more aggressive on the inputs and whatnot, and you may have that in the race. So, you know, just expect to be able to move around, and that's kind of the key. You know, all these 1.5 mile tracks, it's not just the liner on the bottom. You know, once that bottom starts heating up, you're going to have to want to move to the middle or the high side, and you're going to have to pay attention to where everybody else is running to make up the most time. This setup is, you know, it's pretty balanced, a little bit on the loose side, but it kind of tends to get a little bit tight in the center. So I'd probably go a little bit down on the ballast. The ballast makes the front end kind of push more. You could go up on the right rear spring as well. You know, so just, you know, if you help it turn the center of the corner, it won't snap so much loose off, but it still feels pretty good for a fixed setup, and should be a lot of fun to race. One of the features we offer at Virtual Racing School is live coaching. There's a one-on-one coach, and there's also a group coach. So if you go to group classes right here, you can see who is offering the coaching, how many seats are taken. So you can choose to join the class. It'll be 4 weeks, you know, 4 sessions, 1 hour each. And a coach will sit with a group of drivers and critique, you know, whatever they're doing, whether it be, you know, through the analyzer or on the racetrack. And if you'd also like a one-on-one session, you just click on coaches right here, and you just choose whoever you want to as coach. So if you want me as coach, you click on my name, you go to request session and pick whatever you'd like. So, you know, that's one of the features we offer here at VRS, and you know, we hope to see you at a live coaching session soon.